Hey guys, in this video it was requested that I go to the EX stages of the latest story update and show you some example clears to get it done. These are a little trickier than usual because they have like a lot of bulk, a lot of mitigation, and you got a turn limit on some of these. So we're going to be going here and showing you like a sort of budget way to get these done. So the first one is Belmodar and Kielma. You're fighting a human and a beast. No weakness, but they do have preemptive mitigation, which is really high, and it's hard to kill them during the mitigation. So you've only got 5 turns for the mission, and the first 3 turns you basically can't really deal damage. So you only have 2 turns to effectively kill them. Not super challenging, but we're gonna show you how to do it. So first of all, we're gonna grab a friend to carry. So you want to grab someone to just deal decent damage. Doesn't really matter what kind of damage. So like an EX3 Dark Rain, it'd be great. We can grab one there. We can grab a Sephiroth, whatever we want. We're gonna grab a Sephiroth because Sephiroth is my boy. We're gonna grab one that doesn't have excessively high attack power. I mean, 8,000. I mean, most of the Sephiroths on my list are pretty good. So I mean, whatever. That's fine. He's on Ifrit. Ifrit actually is a Beast Killer, so we're gonna go with one that doesn't have Beast Killer. Here we go. Forzian, no Beast Killer. Because, I mean, you want Beast Killer, but we're trying to keep it a little bit more accessible. Anyway, so here's the ambush. The ambush is going to deal a decent chunk of damage. Just make sure you have some bulk on your units. There we go. It wasn't too terrible. Okay, so here's the 3 turns of preemptive mitigation. So now, you can't dispel it on this fight, so we basically have to just, like, hang out for a while. So we're going to use Sephiroth to stack up his LB. Now, you can break Defense and Spirit on Kielma. You cannot break Belmodar at all. So we're going to use Runda to protect, shell, and cover. We'll use the old Aerith to white healing, and I guess we'll just barrier because whatever. We're going to use Olivera to inspiring, rehearsal, and double symphonic. Cacteria, we'll go ahead and we'll do Cactus Break. And we'll do Thorny Teamwork. And we're going to do Unwavering Faith because we can poison Kielma. It's going to poison the boss for a little bit of bonus damage. Now Sephiroth can go ahead and start dealing some damage to Belmodar. I recommend you focus your damage on Belmodar because he is quite a bit bulkier because he cannot be broken. And as you can see, with the mitigation up, like you're going to deal almost nothing. So just wait it out for a bit. And some attacks on whatever. Alright, so Runda can just go ahead and use some LB here. Cacteria can just use her LB as well. We'll use Sephiroth to... we need to imperil, actually. Let's have Sephiroth imperil... right here. Oh, we already did imperil with Olivera. What am I talking about? My bad. Anyway, yeah, like what you do these first few turns really doesn't matter. We're just like waiting at this point for the mitigation. Tag chaining. And if you're not using a tag chainer, I did leave a party slot empty. There is no mission for a small team, so you can use whatever team you want. And as you can see, the poison up here on Kielma is dealing some decent chunk of damage. We'll use Cacteria to do a bigger Spirit Break on Kielma. And we'll do some ailments again. Runda can just guard. Sephiroth, we don't want to guard because that'll mess us up. So we'll just do Boundless Void. Olivera, we can just tag chain again. And Aerith can literally whatever. Okay, so next turn, the mitigation goes away, and we can deal our good damage. So, yeah, pretty much you're just stalling. So tank, a healer, whatever. We're using evasion. The damage, even the damage that bypasses cover, is so exceptionally minor, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so now we're going to use some damage here. So we're going to go ahead and use Olivera to tag chain and Sephiroth to cap that damage. And there we go. You see, Sephiroth did the majority of the damage on Belmodar, who is the very tanky one. And Kilma can be broken. She was broken, so she takes very, very high damage. It's Belmodar is the big tricky one. So grab your favorite finisher. That was turn 4. We had 1 turn remaining, so if we didn't quite finish it off, we could have, like, you know, refilled Sephiroth or something and gone again. Okay, so it looks really high. This is... It looks so high because all that damage was on Kilma. Kilma is very, very squishy, and Kilma took a tremendous amount of damage. The Sephiroth was a big deal for Belmodar, who was the actual tanky unit here. So even though it looks like Oliveira did like 45 times Sephiroth's damage, that's because he was AoE chaining on Kilma, who has no bulk at all. It's all about Belmodar and the Sephiroth friend. Oh, that was a big swing. Anyway, there's that one. Now let's go to this other one. Now this other one's quite a bit easier. It's a beast dragon, and they do have preemptive mitigation, but this time it can be dispelled. So 5 turns or less, no items, no continues. We don't even need a friend for this one. So we're just going to go ahead and jump in here and do it this way. So like I mentioned, you can dispel the mitigation on the last guys. So for this right here, we're just going to use Runda to LB to fill Cacteria a little bit. And we'll just use Oliveira, just go ahead and tag chain these. This first wave is super, super easy. So we don't really need anything. And if your Oliveira is not EX2, you know, there's no problem. Just like take it slow. The last wave is the turn limit wave. So these are going to ambush you, and it's pretty painful. So we're going to use Runda to cover some of the physical. Some of it bypasses cover, as you can see. It is thunder damage. You could resist it if you need to, but, you know, whatever. Oh, it also AoE paralyzes you. So make sure your party, or at the very least your healer, is paralyze immune. Okay, so we're going to use Cacteria to shift this turn. If you don't have Cacteria, you can just dispel these buffs before you break. These are dispellable buffs. They can be dispelled, so keep that in mind. Now, the tanky ones are the 2 species. The raid leader is super easy. But we're going to use Cacteria to just Million Needle Assault. That's an AoE break and an AoE dispel. I lied to you. It's not an AoE break. I thought it was. Whoopsie. Either that or it can't be broken. That's a possibility too. We'll find out next turn. So we're going to protect, shell, and cover. Alright, Aerith will heal. And we'll just do a barrier. And Oliveira is going to Inspiring and Triple Symphonic on the raid leader. We want to kill him off if possible. Like I said, he's very, very squishy. The real bulkiness is on the little guys. Okay, so we're covering with Runda. We've got mitigation at this point. Runda is evading as well. I think they have partial accuracy, so a little bit of evade helps. There we go. Alright, let's go to the base form and use Cacteria's LB and see if they're actually breakable or not. I thought they were, but they might not be. It seems they're completely immune to breaks. Okay, that's good to know. So breaks, not important here. Let's go ahead and use the LB of Oliveira to AoE tag chain. And now that we dispelled these units buffing from the raid leader, they're quite a bit less bulky. So let's go ahead and use Runda to LB to fill LB gauge. Let's ATB to fill more LB gauge, and we'll just barrier again on our Oliveira. So ideally we'd like to use an LB again of Oliveira, but if we don't get it, actually we're going to get it because we have our Runda. Oh, Runda's only EX2, never mind. Okay, so we'll just tag chain again. Not a problem. Oh, never mind. We got his... Oh, yeah, because we're on a second wave fight. So we're going to use Runda's LB to fill Oliveira the rest of the way, and we'll LB again. So this should kill the rest of them, and that should be the end of that. So that's a 3-turn clear. We had 5 turns for the mission, so definitely had more leeway to get it done. Alright, so I'll show you the gear for this real quick. And we could have changed killers around. I had the killers balanced a little bit for the first fight. So we could have gone like all in on Beast Dragon Killer if we needed to. And again, if you don't have Oliveira, definitely bring whatever DPS unit you want. You can bring 2 chainers, you can bring a tag trainer and a finisher, you can bring a friend. There's no reason to go here with just this like I did. Okay, so the gear was Runda is using passive provoke. I gave him death immunity. I don't know if that matters. I seriously doubt it does. Just, you know, it's for the safety factor. I gave him Bushido Freedom as a way to AoE Dispel in case you're not using like Cacteria or something. You can Dispel with something like Runda before you break and then use a breaker. Because Runda has auto cover. You don't actually have to cast cover on turn 1. So just some auto buffing. You know, I just like kind of toss some whatever stuff on him. I am using the Durandal, which is an STMR. It's not really required. But I did give him 100 evasion just for a little bit of extra survivability and status immunity. Cetra Aerith, I'm sorry, the original Aerith, not Cetra. Obsidian Bracer, give it to somebody for the auto breaks. It helps for the ambush stuff. Other than that, status immunity and like just whatever. Literally whatever. I just toss some random junk on her. She just tops off the party, and that's basically it. Cacteria is just a breaker. Some auto LB fills, some auto buffing, status immunity, shift form, same thing. I just you know kind of threw together whatever stuff. Their gear isn't really that important as long as you don't die in the ambush and you're status immune. And then Oliveira in the shift form, relatively cheap gear. His own STMR. Other than that, just I guess 2 STMRs. Actually, the Savior STMRs doesn't really count because Savior was given free from a quest. And anyway, I gave him some Beast and Human Killer because there's Beast in both fights. There's a Human in the first fight, and then there's the last fight has some Dragons. We didn't do Dragon Killer, but okay. 200 Beast, 125 Human, and 50 Dragon for the last fight. And he did his tag chaining stuff. And the friend, we grabbed a random friend to help with Belmodar. And now just for the funniness, we're going to take a quick OTK team to this fight for just, you know, the show-off value. It's fun to show off every now and then. You know, you definitely should use the first clear if you need it. Okay, so we're going to use Roberta to Dragon Killer, Fire Support, and Spear in Peril. Kryla will triple. We're going to Perfect Dispel everything, Break everything, and I guess Malicious Curse doesn't really matter. Tybus will LB. Runda will triple Laser to Support Chain. And Carton will Feral Frenzy. Alright, so, let's see. And, oh, I did that wrong. Well, whatever. Who cares? First fight doesn't matter. So I kind of messed up on Tybus's timing. It doesn't matter on the first fight. It doesn't matter. And here's the OTK fight. It's going to hit Carton a little bit hard because he loves to kill himself. Big headache with Carton, but whatever. Alright, so some AoE stuff. You know, we have the bracer on someone, so that's fine. Anyway, once Carton calms down, we can reload. Let's do this. Kryla's going to Perfect Dispel all their buffs away, break everything. We're going to do all the support with Roberta. Now we're going to properly do Tybus first, and then we're going to chain our Bolting Strike guys. And this should be the end of the fight on turn 1. So Carton did a bunch of chaining, and then Tybus came in with the big boy cap. And I'll show you the gear. I mean, this was not intended for you to copy this, but status immunity, like status immunity, whatever. Status immunity, whatever. The Obsidian Bracer. Here's the gear that matters. Paralyze immunity on Tybus. Other than that, Beast and Dragon Killer. And again, you're not supposed to copy this clear, but if you want to, you can. Max Beast, max or 250 Dragon, and 300 LB. And then Carton is using a Spear build because of Roberta. Beast and Dragon Killer. There's his setup. 300 Dragon, 150 Beast. Okay. So there we go. So I'll show you the damage breakdown, but because Carton AoE chained on the first fight, it's not going to be a fair comparison. But I'll show it anyway. And I kind of really heavily messed up the timing on Tybus on the first wave. Yeah. So Carton, big boy damage here. Anyway, so that was just, you know, to spice up the video a little bit. The real guide was the first 2 clears. So yeah, so if you don't have Oliveira, just 2 chainers, totally fine. Preferably AoE chainers if you can, because it is AoE fights. But if you're using like really high damage single target units, that's fine as well. Also AoE tag chainers like Biggs and Wedge, and then like an AoE finisher. For example, who's a good AoE finisher these days? Oh my god, I don't even know. Oh, Tyvus, like we just used. Is Arn an AoE finisher or is he single target? You know, I don't actually know. Anyway, this video is kind of long at this point. So just, bring the best DPS you can. Or if you have Oliveira, there it is. Alright, see you next time.